I'll opt for more volume
Mm.
instead of, yeah. Whereas now, like I'm still doing a shitload of volume at the moment. I'm in the peak of my fucking growth phase, but there's still a lot of volume there, but I am going a lot heavier and
Mm.
just well, I guess that counts as volume still too.
Well,
But
how close do you go to failure? Like if you could basically like with mechanical tension, like stopping.
it depends what exercise I'm doing. For
Mm.
example, I did a push day, which we'll do that push day that we were talking about. I'll do that with you next time we'll record that. But yeah, my push day is basically when I start off, I'll start with, instead of doing a barbell or dumbbell bench press, I'm
Mm.
finding the machine a lot better to contract at the moment, the plate loaded machine. So I'll
Cybex
do a
one,
few. Which one?
the incline Cybex one, or just like the
It's a con. It would be flat, but it's
or the
rated
hammer.
on an. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah. The yeah. Sorry, just getting fucking things coming through my watch. Anyway, yeah, I'll do warm up sets, but they'll be pretty decent warm up sets. Like my first set will be just a 20 kilo plate on each side, and I'll pump 50 reps out.
Holy fuck.
That'll
Okay.
that'll really get the blood flowing, and then I'll put another plate on each side, and I'll just do 6 to 8 reps, just really squeeze them.
Mm.
It's nothing. It's not a struggle at all. It'd be like a RPE of probably 3 or 4,
Yeah.
and then I'll add another plate on each side, and I'll just do 3 or 4 reps just to get a feel of that weight, just so my muscles, you get a feel of that weight. And then your next set up, like the next set will be my working set, and it's just one set, but it's a big fuck off drop set. And I've got 5 plates on each side. I trained with Hooper the other day. I did 5 plates on each side. I didn't think I was even going to get 3 or 4 reps, but I ended up pumping out 15.
Fuck. Yeah. Wow.
You always train better when you're training with someone, because
Mm.
you got to try and better them almost.
You
Make sure
got the audience.
catch
Yeah.
up. Yeah. And then we ripped it all the way back to just 2 plates again. And then I pump out 25 reps and then pull it back to 1 plate and pump out another 25 reps. And by the end of that, you're fucking destroyed. Like
Yeah.
there's no reps in reserve left anywhere on the drop set.
So it's a
Yeah.
lot of metabolic stuff, like, because like my thing would be like, like I want to get to my working weight doing like as little as possible. So like on that first set, like I would do 1 plate for like maybe 8 reps, and then it's like 2 plates for like 4, and then 3 plates for like 2, then 4 plates for 1, and then I'll go into 5 plates for like 6, 7.
Yeah.
Rest 3 minutes, and then I'll do a set of 4 plates for like 9, and that's how I'll do it.
Okay.
Both of them are to like complete failure just on that way.
Yeah. So your working sets, yeah, that's a bit different to mine. But then again, like
Mm.
I said before, with different exercises, I do different things. My next
Mm.
exercise after that, moving on, still for chest, I do the elbow cuff cable press.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people do elbow cuff cable fly, but I do a press. So I'm just trying to press straight forward.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll put a decent amount of weight on there, and then I'll press, and I'll go for 20. And what I do on this set is I press forward and I hold the concentric for 2 seconds. Like everything's controlled. Then I really control it back, stretch, control forward, press, hold for 2 seconds, and do that again. I'm going for 20 reps. By the time you get to like 15, you're pretty gassed, and it's hard to get the next 5 reps. And
Yeah.
then the next set after that, I'm doing it different again. Like I'll press and I'll go straight back and hold the eccentric for 2 seconds,
Oh
which
cool.
even becomes harder again. Go again. Everything's nice and controlled. Hold it for 2 seconds on the stretch again. Yeah. So, and then gunning for fucking 20 reps again. And again, once you get to 15, it's fucking hard. And after that, I'll just do my final set. It's just like a pump. Like I'll just fucking punch them out fast, and as many as I can possibly do. And I might get to say, I'll be lucky to get to 20 again, and then really fucking might pause for another 5 reps, push out
Yeah.
to 25.
There's
Yeah.
a lot more high volume. Like basically, it's like high volume in every aspect of the word, like sets,
Yeah.
reps, um,
Holds,
everything.
static.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like mine was for a period of time like yeah, completely opposite to where it's like basically like I did a set 6 to 10, then a set 10 to 15, and even now it's moved from like a set 5 to 8, and then a set like 8 to 12, and that's it. And like I haven't done any drops at work or anything.
If you're going that heavy that you're going 5 to 8, how do you find the contraction?
Good. So the funny thing is, I used to fucking hate it, but it just requires a lot of like neurological drive. Like when you start to get ready for the set, basically, sort of got to like build, and you just fucking have to like imagine you're just driving everything and get it to the end but it's never like a held contraction or anything like that. Just get to contraction, pop, and then control eccentric up, try and
Yeah.
then back down.
And it's that heavy that you don't have any choice but to control it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you did, something's gonna fly out. But like I never used to get pumped from that. But after like 1 or 2 weeks, then I would do like say I'll do like a set of like 6, and it would just be full as fuck. It's not that same feeling of like that burn, that metabolic pump, but it's like that very big full feeling, which I never used to get. Like I always used to like my manager when I was at Nutrition Warehouse, he was into like real heavy training, and he was a massive natty dude. And I just never got it because I was like always like, no, fuck that, like high volume pump sets. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And I think your body just adapts to it. So like my biggest thing now is just basically I'm just trying everything, but across like an oscillating like wave. Fuck my chicken.
This always happens. It's a bodybuilder thing.
Yeah.
Always leaving things in the air fryer. I've come back to the fryer the next day and there's still been a couple of bits of chicken left. I was like, fuck, I'm prepping at the moment. I could have had that yesterday.
Made chicken jerky by accident a few times, man. Like it's just sometimes I fucking eat it. Like I did one a while ago where I was like, I didn't have any chicken. I didn't have any other source of protein. I'd cooked it and left it in the oven overnight, and I was just like, fuck it. But like I'm just fucking eating it. I can't be arsed. I'm risking it. And I left like because I get the bag from the Coles, and I'll come home and I'll just put it in the pantry. And I forgot that I had like chicken sitting on the bottom of all like my rice packets. And I put it next day. I was like, fuck it. Because it was cold. I was like, I'll just see what happens. It doesn't smell bad.
It was still cold.
Yeah, it still was like mildly cold. And I'm like, fuck, it doesn't smell bad. I'll risk it. Like I'm so bad with food safety.
Chicken's a risky one.
Yeah. I think honestly it's played up to be worse. Oh yeah, once I accidentally left I left a tray out. Like I'd taken it out of the oven, put it on top of the stove just to let it cool down, and then forgot about it. And it was summer, and there was fucking flies everywhere. And I'd come back, and I was like, "Hey, I put in the bin." And then like I'd probably eaten it twice. And then Matilda went to make it, and she got it out, and she was like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like moving in the fucking thing. There was maggots in the fucking chicken. So she, from that day, has never eaten any chicken that I've cooked again. Understandably,
you can't be trusted.
That was extra.
You can't be trusted with the packets in the chicken.
Yeah, no, I can't be trusted, man. Just stay far away.
But yeah, I wonder what the protein content of maggots would be.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's free fucking protein.
Yeah, I reckon they'd be pretty fat free.
Yeah. What are we going to jump into today?
Those messages that I sent you, I actually wrote them on paper right now.
Oh, beautiful.
Just before we jumped on,
Yep.
we've got like, blood pressure during a growth phase. We've got weak point targeting, sensible cardio outputs, and lean growth phase, and lean growth phase, and what it means basically, best starting point. So yeah, we can start. You want to start with the lean growth phase things?
Yeah. So lean growth phase, like it is a little bit different for across individuals in what they're genetically like sit at body fat wise. Like some people, like if you're a hard gainer, usually you're going to sit towards that leaner stage, and exactly. Yeah, more endo. You're going to be. You're probably not going to have to cut towards 8%. 10% might be perfectly fine. You might be comfortable pushing up to 18. But I know that ecto pushing up to 18 is going to be just ungodly amounts of food. They're going to be inflamed. And they're probably not even going to be able to get there realistically. But the lean growth starting phase for me, I like to start around 8%. Like I'm a little bit more of a meso. So it's like I do like to be a bit leaner. I've tried to go up. So recently I tried to go up from about 11, 12%. And every time I got to about 15% body fat, my body was fighting me, inflamed, high blood pressure, like anxiety attacks. I just couldn't push my body weight up with that body fat. But when I push body weight up at a lower body fat percentage, I feel a lot better. But essentially, lean growth phase is just what everyone should be doing. There shouldn't really be anything other than a lean growth phase.
Exactly. And I get a lot of people come to me, and I think a lot of people don't get this. That's why I wanted to touch base on it. A lot of people come and they say, "Oh, bro, I just want to jump on board. Let's get started with the lean growth phase." and they might be sitting on like 25% body fat, or they're chubby individuals. Like, all right, man, that's all good, but first of all, we got to do a mini cut. And they're like, oh, no, I just want to get into the bulking side of things. Like, yeah, but you can't do a lean growth phase if you're not lean.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people think that it kind of somehow transforms into being a lean. You get lean as you're growing, but if you're at a fat ass starting point, you're not going to be fucking doing a lean growth phase. No way. That's why there has to be like an aggressive mini cut right from the word go, and then go bring it back to maintenance for a little bit, and then step it up and slowly go up into surplus, and adapt macros accordingly and all that sort of thing. If there's PEDs, obviously it's a little bit easier, especially with growth hormone, but you can still do it as a natural as well. But like you were saying, with the ectomorphs, obviously almost all of them can start doing a lean growth phase immediately. They're ready to fucking rock. Mesomorph, there might be a little bit of a fucking cutting phase right at the beginning, and then you've got your endomorph, which it's hard to do a lean growth phase for at all, even if they are at a lean starting point. As soon as you put them into a surplus, their fat wants to just start fucking loading on as fast, if not faster than the muscle. Yeah,
exactly. With those people, sometimes though, it can actually be, exactly, like the term lean growth phase, when we use it in this manner, they almost can't do it. Like the only person I would give a little bit of lean is once again, this is a true endo, not someone who's gotten fat. Like a true endo, we might be pushing to maybe 20% body fat, because once we get to 15, you just haven't put on enough muscle, and it's happened maybe a little bit quicker. Like if the body fat's, but usually they are putting on significant amounts of muscle with the body
they put on
fat.
muscle very fast too.
But it's just to get that fat off takes fucking ages. So it's almost like a rocket ship gain phase into like a fucking marathon cut phase, versus an ecto is a rocket ship cut phase into a fucking mammoth growth phase, basically. Like,
yeah, which gets very, very difficult for them as well, trying to push that much food in, because the food amounts just become ridiculous.
they can. Like I've seen some dudes be up like like a natural dude around 85 kilos being like the 5,000 range, and he's still got like fucking veins everywhere, like abs are pretty fucking hard. I'm just like, man, where's this fucking food going? Like, but
I've got to go on.
No, but within that, obviously, like we talked before, like it can be an issue of addressing other things like the digestibility of the food, and being an ecto in growth phase as well. I believe it is important to. It's not. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong, especially ectos or young like dudes that are trying to put on weight. Is like, it's not just about the calories at the end of the day, because it's not what you eat that meal or that day. It's like you have to do this consistently. So if you're eating like you're fuck at the end of the day, you need to catch up with your calories, and you're eating shit foods that don't digest well, like pizza or KFC, and I've done that. And I can speak from experience, it doesn't fucking work for very long, because you're just putting this shit that's moving very slowly. So you're always going to be stuffing really full, versus if you can spread it well and have foods that digest well, you can keep pushing it on and it'll actually clear out. Then you'll be hungry for those next calories. And that's where it's important to be higher carb. And once again, everyone's different, but higher carb will traditionally make you less satiated, and it will go through in low volume. But fats will slow down the digestion itself. But once again, if you're an ecto that rips through the food and gets hungry quickly, then you might want to be adding fats to actually make sure that food stays in you long enough to actually do something.
Yeah, look, I think ectos can get away with a lot more fats as well. Like I don't like to go over 1 gram of fat per body weight kilogram for anyone, but with ectos, I reckon what I've seen, you could push 1.5 times body weight, 1.5 times grams body weight kilogram. You know what I'm trying to say?
1.5 grams per kilogram.
That's the one.
The one.
Yeah, you can push that quite safely, and they're not going to get fat. Like it just disappears. I don't know where the fuck it's going.
Exactly.
But yeah, like you were talking about, it's probably not a great idea though, because it's going to slow digestion down that much that they're not going to be able to push the food in that they need to eat anyway. Yeah, and they're very fucking insulin sensitive individuals as well, so you can push a lot of carbs through them too.
Well, you can see that. Like I know a guy who was at a nutrition place, like he just fucking lean as fuck. He was like 45 and just like eating a muffin, and then like his veins are just like blowing up out of nowhere. I'm just like, man, And funnily enough, I'm not super duper insulin sensitive when I'm not lean. So like I have to be more in that stage. Whereas like I guess they'll never not be lean. But I guess the biggest hacks for them as far as like food choices, I know for me, I got one from Lucky was like like rice flour, dates, honey, banana.
Yeah.
Having that together, you can get 150 carbs like that, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's what I've got sitting here, ready for my pre-workout. And it's like high potassium, so you're going to get a great training. But just anything that's sort of high carb, and everyone's different. Like for example, I can't eat pasta because it just fucking bloats the shit out of me. Or oats. I used to be able to eat oats, but it also might be the fact that I'm getting towards the 150 grams in one sitting, and it just fucks me really badly.
Possibly something with the gluten in it too. Possibly.
I'm not. I personally try to avoid gluten because I just don't deem it to be. I don't think it's good in anyone. I just think it's different levels of bad, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same too. I don't have any type of gluten intolerance whatsoever, but I steer more towards gluten-free foods
yeah,
just because I kind of feel like it's probably the gluten in the food that's doing the damage. It's going to make you gluten intolerant in the long run anyway. So the more you can steer clear of it, then the better it's going to be.
and just from an experience standpoint, like it doesn't matter what it is, but every time I'm not, it doesn't matter what it is, but every time I eat something with gluten, I'm a little bit more bloated, I'm a little bit more full, I feel a bit more inflamed, and if I don't, I feel good. So it's as simple
Yeah.
as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, luckily enough, we've got a lot of gluten-free options around now anyway. Like if you want to eat your oats, you can get gluten-free oats. You want to eat your pasta, you can get gluten-free pasta as well. You can get fucking gluten-free everything these days. So
Exactly.
that's always a plus. Yeah.
And another couple basically easy foods to get, like I find like intra-workout nutrition. Like I really like, I'm a really big believer in having carbohydrates, especially whilst training. One, because they're basically free, like as in you don't have to eat them. You're gonna have sugars. The sugars aren't really going to affect your insulin too badly because, you're going to be burning that glycogen out of your muscles, and then therefore the glucose in your blood is going to go basically straight there, and it's not going to actually cause an elevated blood sugar level that's going to be super high. That's going to then cause a bunch of other shit
Well,
to
you're
happen.
most insulin sensitive while you're training. And
Yeah.
just for people who are watching this, when you're just in case they're wondering what intra-workout nutrition is, because it sounds like you're fucking sitting down eating while you're training. Not that at all. It's like a carb powder that you can put into the drink, cyclic dextrin or dextrose monohydrate or something like that. Yeah, just a carb powder that goes into the drink, often mixed with BCAAs just for flavor.
Absolutely. And I just use, when I run out, I just use Maximus, like a Gatorade every now and then. It's a little bit more harsh on the like the gastric emptying, so you can actually draw more water to your gut. Depends on how much you have and depends on the individual, but something like, yeah, exactly, highly branched cyclic dextrin, people are going to have no issue with. Easy ones, dextrose as well, like just fucking like a bunch of dextrose, but same deal. Eventually, what you find when you're going towards the real high levels of intra-workout nutrition is you'll probably be mixing dextrose with highly branched cyclic dextrin. So dextrose is that little bit higher GI, gets a little bit faster, but yeah, can draw more water to the gut. And highly branched cyclic dextrin is just the filler. It's a bit more expensive. That's why you don't necessarily just want to whack the whole thing. And I actually do believe as well in EAAs whilst training. I mean, you can't be too protected from your muscle, as well as obviously it just flavors the carbohydrate powder as well.
Yeah, well, that's the best part about it, I think. You don't want to be drinking the carb powder on its own
Oh,
because
I've done it a few
it
times.
tastes
It's gnarly.
like sugar water. Not great.
Nah, nah.
You prefer to be just drinking normal water, but yeah, as soon as you add the EEAs or BCAAs,
Beautiful.
fucking it tastes much better.
And do you have a recommendation as well of like how much water to drink whilst training?
1 liter
Or-
is all right. Like for a whole session, if you get through a liter, that's fucking plenty enough.
Yeah.
But you want to mix one serving of carb powder with about 1 liter of water anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it works out.
exactly. And that was the other thing as well. There is an exact calculation of what it's supposed to be per gram of glycogen. It's like 2 grams of water. So you're supposed to have like basically a 2-to-1 ratio at least of water to glucose. I can't remember the exact calculation, but make sure that it's better to have, in my belief, too much water, because otherwise not enough water
Talking
will
about
cause that.
glycogen, if you talk about glycogen, it's every 1 gram of sugar has 2.7 grams of water bound to it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically if you've got 30 grams of carbs, you need at least say 300 ml of water. But I'll definitely err on you know, the bit higher side, that's going to cause less gastric distress.
Yeah, I've actually heard someone else, I've heard different things as well. Like 2.7 grams to 1 gram is what I hear the most. But then I've heard some people who actually know their shit as well, but they're enhanced too. So I don't know if it makes a difference for enhanced or not. They say 4 grams of water to every 1 gram of carbohydrate.
So I would always go with whatever the higher recommendation is, because there's no real disadvantage to higher, except the stomach discomfort if you have, you know, that ability, or if you're pushing 100 grams of carbs, you know, drinking fucking 4 liters of water. No, that's not right.
Depends what the purpose is as well, though. Like if you're going into a comp and you're trying to calculate a proper carb load for someone, then you've got to be careful of, you know, is it 2.7 or is it 4? Because there's a big difference between the two of them.
Exactly. But even then, a lot of the times everyone's different anyway. So it's more of an observation, what happens, outcome, more or less, and then repeat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Funny you say that. I've got 2 competitors on at the moment who are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Like one of them, he fucking sniffs a carbohydrate and he's just got fucking sub-Q water retention everywhere. Just spills over all over the place. The other one, he can smash heaps of carbs and it just sucks straight into his muscles. And they're both natural. None of them are enhanced.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's once again body type thing. If you've been fatter for longer, you know.
That's we've got a mesomorph and a fucking endomorph. The endomorph is the one who just spills over all over the place.
And the other thing as well is it's like sometimes I believe anyway, like what you have to do to get there, because it's like an endomorph, if they had to fucking crush 0 carbs to get in shape, then their body's not going to be used to handling carbohydrate and they're going to spill over very easy. I know that happened to me. Like I had a coach that put me on 30 grams of oats for my carbs daily from 8 weeks out. And then it was a carb fucking aggressive backload like the night before. And I just went water was fucking everywhere. And then it was terrible versus when I'm actually lean and I'm eating a good amount of carbs, I'm really hypersensitive and I look great. But it's if you have to crash the carbohydrates down that low, it can be an issue trying to bring them back. It's like a staircase to bring them back up. You can't just rocket ship them.
Yeah, me personally, I've always been really lucky with carbs. They just work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I did a comp where I was peeled as fuck, but I looked depleted. My physique looked like it wanted to die. So I'd started, that was a state show. And then the national show was 4 weeks later, which I didn't plan to do. But what I did was I just did so I had my big cheat meal after comp, and then I thought, I'll have a couple of donuts here and there. And I spent a couple of days eating all right. I wasn't ridiculous about anything. I didn't have stomach distension or anything like that because I'd eaten too much. I was pretty sensible. And that just happened for a couple of days. I wasn't going to do the national show. So I went into a reverse diet. I slowly started reversing. And then 2 weeks later, a couple of people who were doing the nationals had talked me into going. And I thought, well, fuck it. I'm in shape. I might as well do it as well. And then I just kept reversing. I didn't do anything fucking special. No more deficit, nothing like that. I just kept reversing. And the carbs my body just loved it. And the skin was getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So yeah, it was a better look. And then by the time I got to nationals, the people who were supposed to be doing it, they fucking pulled out anyway. And it was just me there by myself. So I thought, fuck, I better make the most of it. I did a little bit of carb load on the way in. I think I dropped low for a couple of days when I got to Brisbane, and then I did a carb load 3 days going into the show. I think possibly, yeah, a medium day the day before show, and nothing fucking spectacular, nothing fucking crazy where I'm smashing heaps of carbs, anything like that. It was pretty moderate. Well, for me, moderate is pretty. Someone else is pretty high.
Yeah,
but for me, it was pretty moderate. And yeah, I got on stage with my best look ever. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, and I didn't even plan to do that comp. Just kind of rolled into the stage, and yeah.
That's why it's really important to work with the coach for a while. Yeah, so that's why it's really important to work with a coach for a while as well, because no matter what, there is no secret sauce. There is what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And even what works for you at this time and what doesn't work for you at this time, because something could work now and not work later, or vice versa. So working with a coach that, you know, you're going to be working with for a long time is usually the best route to getting good results. And also as well as doing that, you know, it's when it's like you have it's a good thing, you know, you have the state show and then the national show, because you get to sort of test it out. You know, like how did I do here? You know, I was fucking flat as hell. Even though you weren't planning on it, you know, eating more carbs, and then that's a learning experience you're going into next time, that if, you know, that was forgotten, that's a wasted experience.
Yeah, and I did have a coach that show, actually, I should mention, but I had pulled out. So the reason I got so lean is because I was being coached by Dean McKillop at the time. So yeah, we were getting lean as fuck, but I had a lot of outside stresses going on. Like I'd just fucking been robbed for my phone, my fucking money, my IDs, everything went missing. At the same time as I was moving house, and I was getting my new car delivered from Sydney as well. Oh no, I had just got it delivered. And so there was a lot going on, and I was fucking full stressed out because I lost my phone. That means I lost my business as well, because everything's on my fucking phone. Luckily for the cloud and fucking iTunes, that I could get everything back when I needed it. But you know, it was stressful as fuck, and my money was gone, my cards were gone, my bank card and everything. This cunt was fucking spending it at bakeries and shit, doing fucking the tap. Yeah,
Oh.
he bought Tats Lotto tickets and stuff. I don't know who it was, but I was so stressed, so fucking stressed, and I ended up pulling the pin at, I think I was either 2 or 3 weeks out, maybe 3. And I pulled the pin on the comp. I contacted Dean. I said, sorry, man, I'm out. Fucking, there's too much stresses going on in my life. I can't fucking do this. Yeah. And then I went to the bakery and fucking ate the whole bakery pretty much. And because I was so hungry, I was so depleted, man.
Cortisol
And
finally went.
yeah, it did. It did. Anyway, something else I wanted to touch base on was your thoughts on a coach. Like when coaches are prepping for a comp, personally, I feel like they should set a good example and make it to the fucking finish line. Don't fucking pull the pin and bail. And yeah, so anyway, I had pulled the pin on this, but I also had a lot of online clients fucking, you know, looking up to me type of thing. And I had to set an example. So after I'd eaten the whole bakery 2 days in a row, I sat around for a few more days and I thought, fuck, if I actually pull the pin, this doesn't look good. Like it's not setting a good fucking example for my clients. Like I got to be a role model, someone who fucking pulls through no matter what's fucking going on. So I ended up prepping myself the rest of the way into that show. And yeah, I made it. Like I came third, so it wasn't my best fucking look, but I made it. And I did that so I could set the example. And then, yeah, I had no plans for nationals. I just wanted to make it to that one. And then it just rolled on into nationals, and I just kept prepping myself. But yeah, what are your thoughts on a coach, and what's a valid reason for them to actually pull the pin, and should they pull the pin? And
It's
yeah,
funny with competitions, bad shit always happens. Like I don't know what it is, if it's a magnet, like shit just always happens during a prep, and it might just be because you're in that state and you know you forget shit leads to happen, or you just trend. Yeah. You just react to just react to environments differently because you're always hungry, always cranky, and you can create bad situations with yourself. But even then, something's always going to happen, and it really comes down to your mind. So you might have easy ones and other ones, but it really does just come down to your mindset of what is it worth to you. And as a coach, it is a little bit of a bad look if you are pulling out just for, you know, something happened that was stressful. And something that's stressful is arbitrary. Like something that's stressful to one person might not be for another. And I'm sure 100% of the time when you finish out and you come out 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, and your brain's working properly, you're like, fuck, I should have continued. Like it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't even affecting the competition at all. Like it's
6 weeks is a long fucking time too. Like I said, after fucking, it was 3 or 4 days after I pulled the pin, I was like, nah, fuck, things are good now. Like I've got my mentality is fucking strong again now. I need to do this. I need to set the good example. Fucking 4 days was a long time.
yeah.
So yeah,
You got to
if
realize
you're
that
6 weeks, that's really long. 2 weeks, yeah, you could get sick for 2 weeks.
exactly. Like you just got to realize that your body's in a state of utter fucking panic, you know, because it's
Yeah,
like it's close to death, and you've done your best to get to a point where you could die easily, because you've done your best to maintain muscle tissue, that's burning all your fuel, and you've done your best to reduce all the available fuel. So it's kind of like everything is a nightmare because you're literally so close to fucking death that you should be worried about everything physiologically from a a long time ago standpoint. Obviously, you know that, but your brain and your functions don't know that. So, for example, for me, like in my first show, like my parents split up when I was still living at home, like, and then I broke up with my girlfriend, and it was all these things that happen all at once. Like something always fucking happens, and
Yeah.
but the thing is, to me, it's like, what's not competing going to change? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change anything. Honestly, the only, like, even like, there's sort of, and this is obviously a little bit extreme, but Arnold, like, didn't even go to his own father's funeral to compete. And that I find extreme, but it really, where I see it as is it's like the hierarchy of how important is competing to you. Are you going to be a professional? Is it going to be something you do forever? Is it your absolute passion, something you love? Is there a chance for you to do it again? Is it leading into something else versus
Yeah.
what did happen? And is not competing actually going to change that situation? Like if it is a funeral of someone you truly care about, it's on the fucking same day as the comp, maybe it just, and you've got years ahead to compete, it might just be worth going there. You know what I mean? If that's truly
Yeah.
something that's important to you.
Yeah, but if the clock's ticking, then it's a different story. Like, I don't know how.
Exactly.
Obviously, Arnold wasn't too close to his dad. I don't know,
No, he
but like I think anyone else would go to that.
wasn't.
But Arnold's also a very driven man, and he had a fucking plan, and he's fucking played out his plan better than he expected, I think.
Yeah.
And that's because he put so much fucking effort and dedication into it. Let nothing get in his fucking way. And I think that's a great mentality to have. Well, now I'm
Absolutely.
not saying that I wouldn't go to my dad's funeral because I would. I would definitely pull the pin on a comp for that. And I'll just do the next fucking comp. There's state comps, there's fucking other comps at the same time. But yeah. And but yeah, obviously he wasn't that close with his father. I'm closer with my father, so I'd be going to the funeral. But when other things pop up, like maybe it's a friend's birthday dinner or a wedding or something like that, like if you're good friends with that, if you are good friends with that person, like obviously you need to understand that they're getting married and that's a fucking big deal and you should be there and you'll probably do everything you can to be there. But if it absolutely works out that you can't, they're going to understand that, all right, like you've got your goals, you're driven, this is your life. All right, you need to go do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to, maybe your friend will be shitty at you for a week or two, but they'll get over it. And fucking, yeah, that's what a good friend does.
Exactly.
Friends
Like,
are supportive.
yeah, for example, like my last comp that I did, I was 20 and like I had one of my mates' 21st. And I went. I only stayed till I think, I don't know, 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I went home to sleep. I brought three of my fucking meals. It was out at like a boat club. Bought three of my meals, put it in the esky where everyone else got their drinks, and I had a couple sugar-free soft drinks. Like that was, and I still enjoyed myself. I still saw my mate for his birthday. I still got home to sleep on time. I'd done all my trained before I went. The thing is, it's if you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one. But if you're looking for a way to make it work, you'll also find one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've actually got a friend right now he's having his wedding when I think I'll be about 4 weeks out, maybe even less, maybe 2 or 3 weeks out. And I just said to him, yeah, bro, I'll come, but I'm just going to bring meal prep with me if that's cool. And he said, yeah, bro, I understand completely. Just bring it. Yeah, easy
Yeah,
done.
if they're true friends, they understand, man. Like they understand that that's you, that's your thing. Like
Yeah,
anyone,
exactly.
anyone that tells you different is they're not looking out for you, you know.
No,
But lean gain, we gotta get back to that. What have we missed?
I think we went over a lot of it. The lean growth phase. Basically, you just want to start lean before you start that fucking growth phase.
Yeah. And
And
within the growth phase itself, you want to make sure that you're not gaining excessively per week because you only basically there's always an end point. Whereas like once I'm X amount of body fat percentage for you, say for me, that's around like 14, 15%, I have to cut. There's pretty much no questions asked. And
yeah,
I can either get there in 8 weeks, gaining like 3/4 fat, 1/4 muscle, or I can get there in 16, 20 weeks, gaining a half to 3/4 muscle. So for that same amount of body weight gain, I will gain more percentage muscle if I do it at a more responsible rate of gain. And once again, for everyone, that's different. You got to find how doing measurements by visuals and, protocols, everything, how much, muscle you're gaining versus how much fat you're gaining per week, and keep that at a consistent rate for as long as you can until you hit that max point. Pushing it faster is not necessarily going to get you to the end result faster, because the end result isn't, I want to be 100 kilos. I want to be 100 kilos and still lean, because once I get there, that's not the end result. I have to now get the fat off and try and keep the muscle. There's no point rushing it.
Yeah, exactly. And people want to do a growth phase and they expect to see 10 kilos on the scale. Like I want to gain 10 kilos. All right. Well,
Give
you
me
know
a
that
year.
you're probably only going to be able to gain fucking a maximum, depending on what level of fucking training you're at, depending what level your physique's at, probably a maximum of maybe 1.5 to possibly 3 kilos of lean tissue. So that other 10 kilos, yes, there's going to be a lot of water retention in there as well, but a fair amount of that's going to also be adipose tissue.
Absolutely. And it's just a part of the game. Like there's no one that's going to be gaining purely muscle. If someone says, oh, I put on 10 kilos of lean mass in X amount of time, most likely they're bullshitting you. Lean mass is also a very varied term. Like if I gain a fuckload of glycogen and water, that's lean mass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I've
This is going
gained.
to end. I'll restart it.
Okay. Yeah.
So much straight away. I think you'll have to press agree to this one.
Recording. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll try and find where these recordings are going afterwards as well, so you don't have to send them to me. But I think that last one was a lot better.
Side by side.
Yeah, that and like just a lot better than our last fucking Zoom we did.
Oh, dude, yeah, fuck yeah.
I think
Yeah.
my brain didn't fuck up and I could actually see this time. I don't know.
It's always helpful to be in reality.
Yeah, it helps when you're in reality. You can actually talk and remember what words are and mean.
Not worrying like fuck, am I fucking dying right now?
Yeah, I don't know what happened last time, man. I was just pulling through, man. Like I went for like 20 minutes or more while I was.
I can't believe you didn't say anything, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, dude, I don't know what's going on, but I can't see shit, and my brain's just kind of stopped working.
I 100% reckon it was from two Dexies.
Could have been.
Like,
I reckon it was from. I think I had Lancis that day, and I probably hadn't kept up with my carbs the way that I should have, because I went and trained, and then I was pressed for time, had to hurry up and get home so I could jump in the meeting with you, and I think it just kind of fucked with me a bit. So
I'm pretty sure that like the Dexies as well will affect your glucose metabolism and everything as well.
possibly, yeah. But I would have thought that my body's so used to them by now. It's homeostasis.
Oh, it could be, but there's just like, because like Dexies themselves are like very quick release.
Yeah.
Like having one and then having one 2 hours later is like a lot different than having two at once.
Yeah.
Like for me, like fuck, I'm real sensitive to, like, I have like the 5 milligram tabs. I have like legit 1/8 of them. So I cut it into fucking 8 pieces.
How? It's so small.
Yeah. And I'll be like, fuck yeah, like let's fucking go, because I don't have ADHD. And I'll be like, let's go. If I have
So it's like you just fucking smash back a gram of meth, yeah?
I'm a quarter, I'm starting to feel like cold in my hands, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like okay, now I have to work. If I take a half, I'm like out, like zoned out, like to where I'm like falling back and I can't focus. So I'm just like, I'm so fucking stimulated that I actually can't focus on anything because I'm already stimulated just being in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like what I think would, so Axe Laboratories is bringing out a new pre-workout, and I think it's almost 400 milligrams of caffeine in one fucking serve. So it's probably something like that.
I can't do that, man.
I got a sample, and I was going to fucking transmission because I won't dare take that much caffeine before I train, because I'm going to be fucking frazzled. Yeah. So I thought I'll save it. I'll have half of it before I go to transmission. I didn't even dare have it before that. I thought I'm going to a fucking event and I'm still can't even have this pre-workout. It's going to be too much.
100%. How much caffeine do you use usually? Do you usually use caffeine whilst you train, or?
I have a coffee before I train.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Do you have any like pump supplements or anything like that? Any other with
I,
nutrition around it? Or?
I might smash fucking amount, like I'll just tip the fucking light salt, light salt.
Mm-mm.
I'll fucking tip that some in my mouth for a couple of seconds and then wash it down with some fucking with some water or intra workout drink. I've learned not to fucking try and wash that down with coffee because tastes like vomit.
Oh,
Yeah.
bit of potassium. Fuck that. No, I use a fair bit. Like I use like glycerol. Like I just like they usually have the powder and things, but I have just like an actual container of liquid glycerol, which increases cell hydration. Um, Now I just use like 10 grams of citrulline. Well, once again, I'd probably be able to just get better use of everything just using like fucking 5 mg of Cialis. But
Yeah.
it's like once you're starting to take PEDs anyway, it's like you realize that there's a much better, value and actual efficacy in some kind of pretty safe pharmaceutical that's going to like literally just do the job of everything that you're fucking mixing together. At the end of the day, we're just trying to fucking dilate the blood vessels and
Yeah.
or increase blood volume. That's like
Yeah. Oh, that's
legit.
why I just try and keep it simple. I just fucking smash down some salt, smash down some coffee, and then I'll
Yeah.
fucking my intra workout drink. Yeah.
The only thing I do like is like nootropics and other stimulants like if I'm training in the morning, I'll use like your Himbine. Um, and like I have one with like 1,3-dimethyl, like DMAA. Which for me doesn't actually get me very much mental, but like I just the push just doesn't stop as easily. But you just have to watch if you're using a lot of stimulants, especially if you're using stimulants other than caffeine, that one, you're not taxing your central nervous system using them, like and becoming fatigued. And two, if you're trying to gain, that can be a detriment because you're really not going to be hungry if you're smashing caffeine or stimulants all the time, as well as nicotine. Like I use nicotine. I think Matilda said she was speaking to you about nicotine. Like that's like yeah, got a big fuck off box
Nicotine
of
gum.
nicotine gum. Like that's I use that for like a nootropic, but obviously that's going to affect in a deficit as well. It affects appetite in a good way. You just have to be careful. Like I'm a pretty non-addictive personality. Like never have been.
Yeah, see, I'm completely the opposite. I need to find addiction. I need to find addictions that are good so
Or
that I
into
can't find addictions that are bad.
yeah, exactly.
Like
And that's I
I
honestly
need
think
to be
that's
addicted to the gym. I need to be addicted to my ADHD medication. I need to be addicted to business because if I'm not
yeah.
addicted to all them, I'm going to find something to be addicted to, and it's not going to be fucking good news.
Yeah. And that's honestly probably a trait of ADHD, man. Like that's a big thing with like my missus is the same. Like, back in the day, I used to be addicted to like, chase highs and stuff like that. And like, it's whereas I would be always okay with like, hey, this is part of the experience. We have this, there's an end, we move on. Whereas it's like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. Let's do that again, like as much as we can. And
Yeah,
just that's my world. It really, and that's why, as well as like PED usage, people have to be. It's like mental state is a big thing that's not really even considered when someone's thinking about taking like PEDs. It's like, oh, you should consider, am I fat? Am I going to train? Like, am I estrogen, acne, blah blah blah. But it's like the amount it affects your mental state is considerable. Like I took like steroids quite early when I was 18, and I definitely wasn't ready mentally, let alone fucking physically, where I could have grown a lot more if I had just stayed natural.
yeah.
And you're not ready to understand what baseline is and what's the drug doing and what is you.
Well,
And you
you
just think
don't
they're one and the
you
same.
don't yet have a baseline at that age.
No.
It's still going
And
up.
we just got testosterone fucking a year or
Yeah,
two
yeah.
ago.
It's still going up. It's still making a baseline.
Exactly.
I
So
mean, you go throw
I
the
was,
exogenous there, and you fucking
yeah,
things are right out of whack.
like I was very paranoid and I was very emotional. Like I would swing one way and I'd swing the other way. Whereas naturally I'm not like that at all. And only, spending a significant amount of time off after that because I was like, fuck that. Did I realize what my baseline is? And now I can it's a lot easier to when I feel that coming up, you know what it is. You'd be like, okay, or even you do it for the first time, like fucking hell, I was a bit of a cunt there. I need to, next time I should probably okay, I feel it coming up, pull it back, deal with that normally and then go let it out somewhere else, basically, like at the
Obviously,
gym.
yeah, obviously you're smart enough to actually think back and think, all right, cool. I wasn't acting myself right then. So let's not go back and fucking pump the trend up that high. Or let's not
Yeah,
do
exactly.
this combination, this stack that much, A lot of people don't know because when you're in it, you're in your head at the time. So you believe that you're 100% normal. You could be acting like a fucking psychopath with fucking rape eyes on, walking down the street, looking at every female in a very fucking not right way. And not know,
Yeah.
like you could be getting aggressive towards people and fucking jumping
And
out of
think that you're justified, you know?
yeah, and you think that you're just normal because you're in your head at that time. And nobody in their head at that point in time thinks that they're acting out of control.
No, because you've got these hormones in your brain that are, telling you certain things. So it's like that person just fucking cut me off. He's gonna fucking die. Like, and you think that, like, because that thought comes to you, but that thought only comes to you because of the elevated state of hormones in your brain. Like, and you just have to really differentiate that. It's gonna feel like that's what you should do, but you need to take that second, think, wait a minute, what am I doing? And that's why I think there's a big thing. Like, if you're too young, just don't fucking do it. I know I didn't fucking listen.
Yeah.
And I wish I did. I would be bigger right now, 100% and healthier if I had not have done it until I was at least, like at least 22, 23. Because I wasted it going up and down where my test would have been high. And it's like when you're natural, you get linear gains, and when you're on PEDs, you can only make gains once you're above the natural threshold when that threshold is raised. So it's like if you're in a period of time where that threshold isn't raised, that can even fuck you up mentally because like now you're going backwards, but you're not. It's just a part of the game. You can't just redline your body forever because eventually something will give.
PEDs does complicate things a lot, like physically, mentally, emotionally. It just complicates the fuck out of everything. I'm glad I didn't start until I was 31 years old. And
Yeah.
I only started because I was always a really skinny dude. I was tiny all the time. Like when I started, I was 56 kilos. I lived a bit of a unsavory lifestyle when I was 56 kilos. Like my natural weight was 63, but I was 56, so I was quite unhealthy at the time. Fooling around with substances and stuff like that. I lived that life for long enough, like 9 to 10 years. I think I was doing that stuff. And yeah, when I actually got locked up because I got that out of hand with things, and then when I came out 2 weeks later, when I was on parole, I got bashed that bad that my whole head was like this, like fuck, I got a brain hemorrhage from it, and when I finally recovered from that, there was a lot of trauma, like mentally scarring stuff that happened. I had to get a lot of do a lot of psych work and stuff to even get myself out of the house because I just thought everyone wanted to kill me because I got bashed so bad.
Yeah.
My brain was fucking bleeding. Anyway, yeah, when I eventually recovered, did my psych work, therapy, all that sort of stuff, got back on my feet, went to gym. That was one of the things I wanted to do because when I was inside prison, I really enjoyed that. So I thought, yeah, this is my thing. This is what I want to do. This is my jam. I hate being small. I've always been fucking tiny. I had a lot of fights as I was growing up as well. Like won some, lost some, but when I lost, I got beaten really bad. Like I've been through some fucking hardcore shit like that. But yeah, it happened again when I got out. And when I recovered finally, I just thought enough's enough. Fucking, I'm going to get into gym. I'm going to take this shit seriously. I want to get big. I want to get jacked so people don't fucking look at me like I'm just some fucking easy target and try and target me to fucking go beat up. And then I bumped into one of my mates and he goes, why don't you just jump on test? And at that point in time, I was just like, fuck, yeah, whatever it takes for me to not have this happen to me again, I'm down. So I did. My partner's about to walk in a minute too, so I might get distracted. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I jumped on the test, and because my brain was really slow to start functioning again, and like neurologically, I was all over the place. My brain was fucked up, but the PEDs actually helped heal that as well. So I healed a lot quicker. As soon as I jumped on, my confidence went up. Everything became clearer. I knew what I was doing. Like then I felt my strength going up, and I thought, "Fuck, this is awesome." So yeah, luckily, like I didn't thrash it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was getting advice from fucking a typical gym bunny, So I thought, all right, maybe I should start getting proper advice eventually when I was a little bit down the track. Hey, babe, how are you? And yeah, so I started I went for a few years, and then I started getting some coaching, and then I started realizing, all right, I need to get some proper guidance on this PEDs thing. Yeah, not far down the track, I met Dean, who coached me for a few years, and yeah, he helped me a lot with things. And then basically by coaching under him, I got sent in the right direction to further my knowledge even more and to meet the right people, and reach out to the right people, do some consultations with them, and just keep furthering my learning about things. Because yeah, warning I'd like to put out for all the little gym bunnies, they shouldn't be just listening to fucking
They're bro.
Fred, who's walking around the gym saying, oh, you should be on fucking 1 gram test. You should be on 1,000 test. Like that's your starting point. Because no, you fucking should not. Yeah, your estrogen's going to go through the roof. You're going to become an emotional mess. You're probably going to grow bitch tits. Acne's going to go fucking wild. Like it's a slow process. You got to, like, one of the mentors I used, Broderick, he has a really good analogy for things, and that's the elevator analogy, where you can jump in an elevator, and if you're on the ground floor and you want to get to the 10th floor, do you jump in there, push it once, and wait for it to do its thing, or do you jump in there and just keep fucking pushing that button flat out and think you're going to get to where you want to go even faster? That's the same as PEDs. You just got to kind of take it slowly and let it run its course, do its thing, and not just fucking push the fuck out of it. Because if you do that, you're going to have some really bad experiences. It's going to fuck you up mentally, emotionally. It's going to fuck you up physically. It'll help a little bit too, but by help I mean like you'll grow a little bit of lean tissue, and you'll get strength. You'll have a little bit more water retention. But yeah, outside of that, like, it's really get some fucking professional help. Like, not I shouldn't say professional, because there's not a lot of people that are qualified to do
educated help.
So yeah, some educated help. That's a good way to word it.
Yeah. And once again, that's like, I have a bit of an issue once again when sometimes, like we talked about this previously, like tertiary education isn't the only gold standard when it comes to especially what we do, because there is no actual certification of bodybuilding. There is certification in exercise science and in pharmacology, but even then, the things that they study are usually within a certain marker of people, and it's not bodybuilders. It's within the pharmacology is usually within disease populations, and then the exercise science usually within athletes. And there are things that cross over, but we're seeing more and more that it's like it's not really much is changing, and there's always multiple ways to do things. Like, and you look at the best in the world, they're all probably doing different things. It's all somewhat similar, and there's a spectrum and a range. A lot of the times it comes down to what do you enjoy more. But when it comes to like people being educated online, it can make it hard to discern between who knows and who doesn't. But when it comes to PEDs, don't listen to the guy that's just telling you that is necessarily just jacked. Just listen to more so the words that they're saying. Obviously, if they've got results, that does mean for something. But just listen to the words they're saying. If they're actually got your true nature at heart, your health is probably the biggest thing. If the biggest consideration isn't health when it comes to PEDs, then it's probably not the right person, because educating on PEDs to get big is take them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only education you need on how to get big using PEDs, is take them and then take more. It's how can we do that whilst being as healthy as we can and as long as we can. That becomes the equation.
Exactly. And there's a mountain you have to climb as well. Like, it's not, you don't just sit yourself on the mountain straight away. Like, you got to fucking take step by step.
Earn it.
Slowly. Earn it. Work for it. Your fucking nutrition comes into play a lot as well. So does training, and the way that you're structured, everything, absolutely everything. Like, it all fucking meshes in together. It's not just a fucking slam test and get there fucking type of situation. Like,
I've done that. Like, and the way I view it is it's a magnifier. So it's like, say it's ×3, but if your training's, say it's 1, and then your nutrition's 1, and then it's ×3, you got 1 times 1 is 1, and then ×3 is 3. But if your training and nutrition are a 10, it's 10 times 10 is 100 times 3 is 300. So you're going to 3 versus 300.
It's a really good way. Yeah.
It's more so just a magnifier of what you're doing. So the better you can get everything else first, you only need the smallest little magnifier for it to boom, make a big difference. But if you're shit, then you do some and it's like, oh, this isn't fucking working. This shit is shit. I need more. And you take more, and it works more because
there's too many
actual clients as shit.
putting steroids in the front seat while fucking nutrition and training rides back. It shouldn't be that way at all.
When I was young, I've done that, and that's why and this is why I like, once again, love helping people. There was a time when I was, I think it was 19, and at that point I was on like a gram of test and a gram of Deca, and I was a fucking moonhead. I was, my nutrition was, I was drinking a liter of milk, eating fucking pies, as well as eating my chicken and rice, and then, get the calories in the end of the day, I'm eating fucking KFC. And I can tell you now, my dog is killing something, but I gained more muscle in the last this fucking thing. Yeah.
Don't you just have a little sausage dog?
Yeah, she fucking kills everything, man. I gained more muscle in the last, 5 months on less than 300 milligrams of test, because my training is the best and the most structured it's ever been. My nutrition and the education on that is the best it's ever been. It's not just about macros, it's about, micros, potassium, sodium, magnesium, as well as the food choices, how they affect your gut health. When all these things are here, you don't need that much. So if your bro's saying like, oh, you fuck, man, you need at least 500 milligrams to start, then you go up to 750, 1,000. It's most likely because he hasn't got those other two things nailed down yet. And that's why he needs that much. And they see that the only way for them to get better is more gear. Does it work? Yes. But also you're raising the risk profile for no reason. Where if you raise training and nutrition, there's only positives. There's literally no negatives. So why would you not raise the things that have no negative first? Yeah. And they give you a result.
Yeah.
No point taking gear to look like a fucking decent natty.
I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday. He was saying to me, look, all these pros, they're on fucking over a gram. How come I'm still fucking running blah, 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 such a small dosage? I said, well, we got your blood work back and it's fucking up shit creek. We've been, doing things together for a couple of years now. I know, we both know that fucking every time you implement something extra, your body says, no, fuck you. Like, you're not that guy. You're not that fucking pro level guy who can handle all this shit. Like, you haven't even done a comp yet. We want
another part of genetics too.
Yeah, it's very much so a part of genetics. Like, if you don't have the genetics to do so, you're stuck with some genetic predisposition like this fella is, who can't, like, if he even fucking had a little tiny grain of anadrol, it's all over. His fucking socks are going to have fucking muffin tops on them, water retention everywhere. He's going to be emotional. He's going to be fucking messaging me saying, oh, my missus left me again. I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, it just doesn't work for some people. And then you've got some other people who they can just fucking start smashing they can smash a gram and fucking throw in Tren and fucking Deca at the same time. And
they're healthy.
All this other stuff. And they just respond wicked. Like they just awesome. Yeah, there's freaks like that. And then there's the other end of the fucking spectrum where people just can't. And they need to accept it. Like, you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not at that level. And you might not ever get to that level because you might not have the genetics to do so. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing as well, it's like, say, for example, if I can grow off 300 milligrams and I decide instead I'm going to do 600, I'm not going to grow double, but my side effects are going to probably more than double. And my health markers are going to be doubly worse, at least. And the amount of tissue I'll put on extra is marginal. Like, if you only ever used and the other thing is, the main thing is that people will actually care about results, is that you'll get less results in a lifetime, because no matter what you do, there is a maximum threshold that you can take basically before you die, or before your body will just be like, bro, I'm fucking shutting down. And if you're rushing to that fucking point, it's the same way as putting on more body fat for in a shorter period of time with muscle. If you use more gear in the short period of time, there's a fucking max point where you can't go above this level. Whatever muscle you got. And the only way to come back down. Exactly.
And once you get to that bell curve, things start getting real fucking ugly. That's why you got to pull it back to fucking maintenance, pull it back to a healthy level of fucking PEDs. Sit out here for a little while, let your body have a rest, let your body become more responsive to things again, and then give it another crack. Not just
what's your opinion? What's your opinion on cycling off versus TRT?
Me personally, I'm 40 years old, so TRT is the way to go. But even for a younger fella, just say someone's at the age of 25 and they've got the goal to become a pro on the bodybuilding circuit. TRT, 100%. If it's an individual who wants to have family down the track and is worried about their fertility, I do with clients, I do suggest go get your fucking sperms frozen, or
That's what I did.
you're gonna have to come. Yeah, it's the best idea, man. Like you
Mm.
got nothing to worry about then. There's no reason why you should have to come off completely ever. If you've got the goal to keep moving forward, keep progressing, then TRT is the way to go. Because like you were saying before, if you pull it back all the way to coming off, you're not going to progress when you're off. Your it takes too long to get back to its normal levels to where it would start progressing again. And when you do progress, it's only going to be this much in opposed to this much.
So when I was younger, I used to cycle because that was the information that was kind of around back then. Like I saw TRT is like, oh my God, he's not coming off. That's so fucking dangerous.
Same.
Like, so I do, 12 to 16 weeks, sometimes push it in a contest prep, maybe 20 weeks. And then I come off completely PCT or sometimes
Yeah,
not even
same.
PCT.
Yeah, I
And
always thought, fuck, I need to get my PCT ready. I need the PCT. I have to come off. Yeah, when I found out about TRT, I was like, ooh, fuck, what have I doing?
and I can tell you every time you start at your natural set point, right? No matter what, you're going to go at least down to that, probably further because you're not even at natural levels now. Now you're fucking below them. And you're also depressed because you lose a muscle, you're looking soft, you're emotional, you want to eat shit. And you don't think you can train as hard because mentally, if you just actually did what you fucking did when you were taking shit, you probably actually wouldn't lose as much as you do when you act out the way you feel. But every time I'd go up, I'd look a certain way. I'd fall all the way back down, literally to almost the way I looked before. And then I would do it again, but with more. So then I'm just taking the same ride from the same place, just with more and ending up that little bit further because I took more.
So
And
instead of going up, and then level, then up, then level, you're kind of going up, then back down, up, then back down. Yeah.
and you're still being just as unhealthy because each time you're pushing your body to the same level of unhealthiness as if you were to take TRT after. And as well, rather than when you drop to TRT, you actually drop into a healthy level. What happens in between when you're dropping to TRT, to like a PCT and coming off, is you actually drop to a point that is unhealthy in the other direction, where you have no testosterone, you have no estrogen.
Oh, you got plenty of
A lot of
estrogen.
estrogen.
Seems to just stay up.
Initially you do because the testosterone will be high, and then there's a lot of conversion still happening until that testosterone runs out, and now you've got zero testosterone, a lot of estrogen,
Yeah.
and then that estrogen starts to run out, and then now you've got none of both, and then your body starts to restart. But there's a period where you have fucking zero testosterone and a fuckload of estrogen,
And that's
and
what
your body doesn't actually. That is where you just want to kill yourself. Like, you look soft, your blood pressure's high, you can't train, your nips are sore, you don't want to fucking do anything.
realizing that you're existing on this planet as a man who is pretty much a female. Yeah, that's what
Exactly.
it is.
Exactly what it is.
And you get
And
depressed thinking, fuck, I wanted to be big, I want to be manly, but now I'm all the opposite.
and it plays on your mind as well, even from a physique standpoint, where you looked like this and now you came off and you look like this. And what that can sometimes lead to is people doing the forever blast, where you're scared to come off because you know this is going to happen. But TRT and then doing that correctly, where you're coming up, you're only ever pushing your body up when it needs to go up. And so when you do that, that's the other thing I want to ask your opinion on, because I'm of the advocation that, for example, like myself, I'm on 300 milligrams of test. I can basically run that and be healthy. And all my markers are good, everything's good infinitely. So I would rather run a little bit higher baseline and keep pushing that baseline up until I get to a point that's unhealthy. And then that's when I'll have to start doing more phasic work. But until that point, I can push my body and keep everything within the numbers, because I only need from 300, I'll go to 350. Then I'll go to 400 and I'll see how the body looks on that. And if I can stay healthy, there's no point to drop, in my opinion, there's no point to drop anything down when you're not in an unhealthy range of anything.
Yeah, but can you drop it down and keep it within a good rate as well, within a good range? Like if you drop down to 200, you're probably still at a pretty good fucking range, which is less stress on your heart for a start.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be a pretty fucking important reason, I think, to bring it down a little more. But I don't see,
100%.
like, for anybody who's above probably 90 kilo, 85, 90 kilos, 200's a pretty good rate to run it on a TRT.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bring
Yeah.
it to 180. 180 is not too bad. I think once you get down to 150, it's still all right. But if you're doing it for training purposes, then probably keep it up above the 180, 200 mark. But yeah, 150 for somebody who wants it to, if you're if you're maybe over the age of 40, testosterone is declining, you want it up a little bit, you want to feel confident, you want to feel good about yourself, 150 is great.
Yeah. Like I think I was doing around 150, 200, and like my test levels are like I think 18. So like not even high range.
Yeah.
So for me, I know that I need at least, 250 to sort of sit high normal. And 300 for me is hardly a push. It literally doesn't mess any numbers up. And I'll push up, push up, push up 50 milligrams at a time, probably over 20, 25 weeks.
Yeah.
And then once it starts to show some markers, then that's exactly when I'll start to that transition of to 200. And then now I know I'll increase, and I'll probably have to increase past 450, and I'll probably go to 500, 550. And then once again, you repeat the process. You just don't want to spend too much time
Are you
in that
talking about,
range that makes you
talking
unhealthy.
about total milligrammage, including your
Total milligrammage.
following?
No, just total milligrams.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
No,
people,
yeah, that's what I mean.
some people
Because, or what's your opinion?
as well. Hang on. Sorry. I just got that
No, right.
10 minutes left thing popped up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people. What's your opinion?
Sorry.
You're right. You go.
I was just saying, some people get that confused with testosterone and masteron and and all that sort of stuff. They don't realize that it's a total milligrammage. They kind of they might be on fucking 300 primobolan and 100 test, and like, how come I'm only on 100 test? I should be on more test. Like, dude, you're on fucking almost 500 megs. Like, chill the fuck out. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not test though.
Exactly. Test is only there to fulfill its purpose as test. It's not the only thing you grow on. It's just there to give you testosterone and to give you estrogen. That's the only thing it's there for. What's your opinion on cruising on things other than testosterone?
Oh,
like for example, a cruise of like, say, like primobolan.
Primobolan has its purpose. Like if you're cruising on test, but your estrogen's still too high, look, personally, I'd add a little bit of masteron, or just depending what phase you're leading into as well, really. So primobolan or masteron, really, if your estrogen's a little bit too high and you just want to suppress it somewhat. That's why I steer more towards masteron, just because it has a better effect on suppressing, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful.
But you can cruise on Proviron as well. I definitely wouldn't cruise on any 19 Nors, no. but
I know some people that want to put like 50 mgs of NPP in or something like that. And I'm like,
for a cruise,
your poor brain.
but you've got growth hormone as well. Growth hormone is cool to cruise on. Like I would cruise on growth hormone at like 2 IU a day, 5 days on, 2 days off, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like
for blood pressure as well. Like you don't want to stay on it 7 days a week, really. It tends to throw blood pressure right off.
Exactly. And once again, everyone's different. Some people have this is like, when we talk genetics, a lot of people, what they think is like, oh, okay, what's my structure like? What's my my propensity to gain muscle tissue? But some of the biggest factors are how well can you handle side effects? How good is your digestion? Your resistance to metabolic stress. Like there's so many different things that are like genetics that people don't look at.
Yeah, people think genetics is just the look. Like, oh, he grows muscle easy. He's got good genetics, which I guess does kind of
is a factor.
But yeah, it's all those things like, can you handle this much PEDs? Can you handle this food, that food? Fucking, can you handle this style of training? Like, can you even
exactly?
Yeah. Some people can't handle carbs, so hypertrophy is not a great fucking route for them to choose with training.
Exactly. Like for me, I for a period of time, couldn't mentally handle the side effects of gear. Like it would just put me in too much, because testosterone does increase your sympathetic drive, which is the fight or flight or anxiety drive, which is why a lot of people can get more productive as well, like on testosterone, because you're wired to fucking go and do things. But I'm a person that's already very highly strung and also very like a hypochondriac, so I feel everything in my body. So like I could handle it, physically, I grow very quickly, but mentally I can't stay in that state
Yeah.
and achieve all those things because I can't mentally handle it, which is another side of genetics.
Yeah, it is. And I find that happens a lot with people. Like the people who can grow really fast and just have the physical genetics of being an absolute fucking powerhouse beast kind of crumble mentally when it comes to the crunch. Like when it comes to really pushing shit uphill and being able to like take that to the maximum. Yeah, psychologically, they can kind of crumble. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Whereas
and that's
myself, I'm hard to grow. Like I can grow all right, but I have to really fucking push myself, be strict. I have to fucking tick all the boxes every day. Not if I miss a fucking couple of meals on one day, there goes 2 kilos. But yeah, like I got to stay strict. And but my mentality's strong. Like psychologically, I can keep
mm,
pushing. I can keep going with that. I'm not gonna let anything fucking throw me off. Like small little issues and that. I think I handle it all right. And I've noticed that's the same with a lot of people, like people who have to struggle a little more to actually grow and put in the work to get a better physique, kind of mentally handle things a lot better anyway. So
mm.
there's a happy balance there.
Definitely is because it's like, but the other thing as well is if you're finding that, don't, and you can't stay in that state, don't keep pushing. Like something that I did was I came back down, I got my mental shit sorted. Like I went to a psychologist, still see one. And once you are able to deal with like the fact that like, oh, my heart rate's a little increased. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Like that would all it would take. Or I've got a little pain here. I'm having a heart attack. Once those things are, or like, a little bit of fucking water retention to my ankles, I'm got heart failure. That's like once you can handle those few things, know that some shit's gonna happen and you can handle it, then you can allow yourself to push into it if you can handle it mentally. And some people, man, I know a lot of people at like the, Olympia level, the kind of shit that they would have to go through mentally to be where they are, not even just like, oh, I want to eat and I'm not eating, but just like the actual mental state that these chemicals can put you in like of fear, of these feelings that you just don't experience when you're natural. That takes a lot of like for example, rest in peace, but like Luke Sando, like he killed himself, and who knows what he was going through that time. But there is a big mental side of, like we talked about before, mental side of steroids that
yeah. Well,
can really affect people.
people need to take into consideration that if you're going to have enhanced hormones to enhance your physique, you're also going to have enhanced emotions and an enhanced mental state as well.
Exactly.
That's what people
Exactly.
don't really realize. They want all the fucking gains, of course, but they don't think about the shit that comes with it. But if
Well,
you
yeah, and
understand all that stuff, you can handle it a lot better, and
yeah.
you can actually take advantage of it somewhat too. I think, like if you know
Mm.
have enhanced emotions and enhanced mental state and all that sort of stuff, you can enjoy certain things in life more. Like you can go and watch a fucking Disney movie and almost like
Start crying.
you're so emotionally invested in this fucking cartoon that it's fucking great.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah,
it's if you know
almost
what's
like being
coming,
alive.
yeah, it's easy to prepare for. Like, and just know that when you look at, those fucking big dudes in the gym, if you want to be that, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, it's good, but there's a reason a lot of people aren't there. It's not just all this, what you see. You don't know what goes on when
Yeah.
he's in bed at night, what his fucking thoughts are doing because of how fucking big he is. So if you want to get there, know that it's a journey and it's worth it for some people, but it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
Just be self-aware. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
If you've got
exactly
good
it.
self-awareness, you're going to go far.
100%. That's literally all it comes down to: self-awareness and then addressing what you think needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Look, I think we should cut it off there. That's a good ending, and we've got 2 minutes 14 left anyway. Uh,
Easy.
yeah, cool. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds good, man.
Any chance you
Good.
send me through the Google Drive the copy again? Because I don't know if I'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, man. Good chatting with
Yeah,
you.
easy. Yeah, good. Good to see you, man.
Enjoy it.
I'll book the photographer. So 1 o'clock next Tuesday.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'll just pump out my clients and yeah, I'll come in.
Beautiful.
Session done. Cool, man.
Is it done, man?
Awesome. I'll speak soon.
Talk to
Yeah.
you soon. Bye.